That's gonna happen.
Okay.
It'll fix itself right when we go live.
Okay.
And then I'll come back into the room.
Okay.
Oh, turning on Do Not Disturb. That's really important.
Mm.
Oh, okay. Oh, we are live.
Okay.
It was live a little bit before it was supposed to be live. But anyway, when we go live.
Okay.
And then I'll come back into the room. Oh, shit. Now I'm sorry, there's going to be feedback for a second because it's replaying the video. I need to make that stop. Oh, it stopped. Okay.
Okay, fine.
Hi, everyone. Dante here. Welcome to the weekly live stream channeling session. Thanks so much for tuning in and making this work possible. Again, none of this would happen without people viewing, coming and asking questions, and supporting really the whole planet in integrating these new frequencies that are available to all of us, not just channels. So my intention with this is for all of us to expand into our own intuition and connection with our guides and find what it really means to be who we uniquely are. So welcome. If you're new to this, I channel the Pleiadian Council. They're an interdimensional group of higher consciousness extraterrestrials that work with our world and are deeply connected with us. And you can explore that mythology in your own way. My feeling is that you're already connected to this, so you know why you're here. And so this works with your questions. You can ideally ask the question live with your video and or audio. If you're watching on YouTube live, you can click the Zoom link that should be posted pretty soon to hop in the room. This is all done for free, and you can support with donations. There's a PayPal and a Venmo link. It's not necessary by any means, but it supports me in continuing to do this for free. So we encourage you to keep your questions. Just assume that as telepathic beings, the Pleiadian Council knows a bit more than you think they know. So sometimes backstory is helpful and sometimes it's not necessary. Just try to keep your questions to like 1 or 2 minutes. And if they need more information from you, they will ask it from you. You can also type the questions into the YouTube box and we will address those as well as the Zoom chat box. This happens every Thursday at this time, and there is a private session tomorrow because the way that social media works at this point with many things happening in our world, we don't get to talk so openly about some things that are happening. So that is a video to really explore those things that we don't have access to explore in these sessions. And it's $11 to $20 donation. You can check my, I don't know, there's a previous video, or you can just email me for information about registration for that. It's at the same time tomorrow, Friday, the 27th. And the channeling course is starting again in the beginning of October. There's a new testimony coming out about that and some new information coming out soon. So if this work resonates with you and you want to have an experience of deepening your own healing gifts and psychic gifts and really putting them to work in your own life, because it's first of all about using this to transform ourselves, get to know ourselves and work out anything that may be stuck within us. And as we step into our true self, then we guide others on the path in our own way. So whether you use this to become a channel and connect with your guides, or use it for your own healing, or use it to really step into the role of a healer or mentor in your own way, this course will be really helpful. And there's a lot of people that can feed back onto that. I know a couple people in the room now that can attest to that as well. So ask me any questions, send me an email if you're interested, and DanteStarshine.com has all the information. So that's all I have to say, I think. Thank you to Emily today for being the fill-in host. Really appreciate your presence always. So really happy to have you here with us today. And I think I've said all I need to say for now, right?
Sounds good.
Okay. So yeah, Emily, I'm gonna make you the host, and that means when new people hop into the Zoom room, that you will have to admit them here. Anything you want to add?
Thank you for being here, and let's change the world right now together.
Yeah. Awesome. Sounds good. Let's do it. Hello, and we say a good day to each and every one of you. As the Pleiadian Council, it is a pleasure and honor to establish contact with you in this way, and we thank you for allowing these transmissions to take place, as it is an opportunity for you and ourselves alike to expand through the co-creations and reflections offered. And for this, we extend our thanks to you. Now, before we address your questions and concerns and passions as we do, we begin again with a short message to preface this work. And today, we come to affirm to you the true power of your love. And we wish to show you the forgotten connection between love and truth. The ancients of your world attributed beauty as an aspect of truth. Because if something was not beautiful and did not bring a sense of joy and connection and harmony, it was not considered true. So this understanding has been largely forgotten in your world. And instead, you come to value facts and decide to see reality as if facts alone are what make something true. Yet, the more you come to understand facts, the more you will see that your reality is in many ways contradictory. And in an age now defined by the excess abundance of information, you will also find that these facts will contradict each other, and truth, when you look at it through this lens, will be harder and harder to find. So connecting the idea of love and beauty back to truth, the understanding then is truth is what is true for you. Truth is what allows you to experience joy and appreciation for yourself. And discovering your truth is about stepping into who you truly are, stepping into your unique relationship with yourself and your unique way of relating to others and to your world. For each of you has come here to play a particular role, and that role changes and adapts as you come to know yourself more. Ultimately, again, the purpose of your being is to be who you are, to be yourself. And as you come to know yourself, you will embody source and love. So we encourage you to start to see that the truths, the facts, the ideas that seem real but do not give a beautiful and harmonious filter to the world might be ideas and facts and truths that are not completely true. There is a perspective within those truths that is missing, that if you bring the eyes of beauty into that perspective, that truth, you will see the world is much brighter than you previously assumed. And you cannot really get to the core understanding of truth without integrating the idea of paradox. Again, because you have now come to associate truth just with facts alone, and facts contradict each other. You must understand that two opposing ideas can simultaneously be true. And it is not a world defined by an absolute black and white, light and dark, true and untrue. All of these things are a gradient between opposing forces. And then all conflict between opposing truths can only be solved with this understanding of the power and importance of beauty and love as aspects of truth. For if you disagree with somebody, and if you work to, in a sense, shut down their truth, you are not bringing beauty and love to your truth, and that will disconnect you from oneness and source, and disconnect you from experiencing the divinity of the other. When you in any way stop yourself from experiencing the divinity inherent in the other, you also will stop yourself from experiencing the divinity of yourself. So when somebody disagrees with you, remind yourself that they are divine, and remind yourself that their truth is true as well. And when you see every truth as valid, you can then, in a sense, amplify your own personal truth by bringing deeper layers of love, compassion, and beauty into it. How can you expand your way of seeing things so that it is something that will work for everybody and will include everybody and will not negate other truths and ideas, but will see those other potential ideas as something that can be integrated within it? See any conflicting opinions or contradicting opinions or oppositional opinions as the necessary counterpart to your truth, and that both of these truths can coexist. And when they coexist with love, it then allows for uniqueness and individuality to express within all of you. And in that sense, that is the way you discover your unique medicine, why you have come here, and what you can offer to the world. But until you get beyond the idea that one thing is true and the other thing is false, that one thing is right and the other wrong, then you will never be able to get to that holistic, integrated place, seeing everything and every expression in your world as valid. So we hope that it's something that each of you can apply in your own lives, and it's something that will tie into the discussion that we will continue to explore tomorrow in a more private setting. And we do encourage all of you to keep your hearts open, keep your minds clear, and remain centered in your body. For at the feeling level in your body is the level at which all of these ideas and truths become concrete, materialized realities that you don't have to question any longer. So we thank you for allowing us to share this message, and we now ask you, how can we serve you this moment of your time?
Who'd like to jump in first? Go for it. Okay, if no one would like to ask the first question, I'll ask. In terms of decluttering, in terms of us letting go of physical items, could you speak into that for us, please?
Yes. So what are you seeking to release? Understand that objects have the value that you decide they have. And many of you use physicality as a means to create a sense of safety, or a sense that you are worthy or deserving because you have. When really, as you come to understand that you have what some call the vortex, or the vibrational field of all of those things that could be yours already within you, that anything you could have or want to have already belongs to you, it's already yours, then so many of the need to bring other things into your life falls away. And it comes with realizing that less is more, that you are able to only bring the things into your life that you truly have value and use for. So as you declutter, you must bring yourself to be aware of the emotional connection you have to things. First of all, is it useful? Is it necessary? Could somebody else use it if you don't use it? If it is truly useful and necessary for your life, then we would keep it around. Then you must ask, is this something that I have a deep emotional resonance with? It reminds me of love, connection, and beautiful moments that affirm who I am. And if that is true, then you may want to keep it around. If what you are feeling in the thought of letting it go is fear or anxiety or any sort of lower vibrational emotion of that nature, we encourage you to bring your awareness into that feeling and really question, do I need this? Would this emotion be present if this object wasn't a reflection of my own attachments to physicality that are, in a way, coping mechanisms?
Amazing. Yes, that's so helpful and for everyone. So profound, as always. That methodology, yes, so precise. I'm wondering, because it's I have like a large collection of channeled books, and to me, obviously, they're so full of wisdom, but there's this part of me that really just wants space and doesn't feel like I need a reference point other than my inner heart. And then there's this other part that I suppose is quite fearful, saying, but there's so much wisdom, do I really want to give that away? But I don't actually believe I am giving it away. I feel like I would be entering into a deeper state of trust in myself, plus passing on the wisdom to other people. Do you feel that it's, I suppose what I'd like to ask for the collective is, do you feel, what's your guidance on giving away to charity shops? Or do you feel that selling things like that gives it more value for the person?
Well, someone will buy it wherever you send the book, so that exchange of value will take place. What we would encourage you to do is take a look at every book, skim it, open a page, and see if you feel in a deep way that you will read that book, that there is something you need in it, and listen to your gut feeling. If something in your heart stirs that says, I might still want to consult this, then put it aside. And if you feel as if that book no longer serves you and is something that might benefit others more, then allow it to be a gift that you give to people.
Yeah, wonderful. Thank you. I suppose I'll just ask one more on that to help everyone. If we're kind of stuck in this loop of thinking that everything is important, everything matters, everything will be used again, because kind of in this loop of, we don't want to make something seem small or irrelevant to us. What would be your guidance on letting go in that way?
Well, understand the power of empty space as well. For when you have an empty room, the one thing that remains in the room has much more of an aura and much more of a significance to you. Whereas if the room is filled with hundreds of objects, that one object is simply lost among the clutter, and its vibration isn't felt as acutely as it was when it was standing on its own. Understand, as you view a space, the space between objects is part of how you attune to the energy of the world around you. So know that you are not losing anything, you are creating space. And then you can see what you value more, this degree of space or this degree of objects. Because space is also something that serves you. And it is in that empty space that you can really let go of the outer stimulus and seeking it or being influenced by it.
Thank you. That was so helpful, and for other people in the group. Okay, thank you. We've got a question from YouTube, from Gaia's Baby. How can the feeling of withdrawal from substances be felt and defined as a positive process? Thank you.
Well, you can use this in a positive way by seeing it not as a withdrawal, but as a detox. The feeling of lethargy, craving, and despair that comes with some experiences of withdrawal are also reflections of the underlying emotions that cause one to seek addictive substances. And hence the withdrawal generates an even greater desire to use the substance again to negate those emotions. So when you understand that healing is feeling, the withdrawal and all emotions associated is a positive experience because you know it is a healing experience. Understand that in order to clear trauma and negative belief systems, which again are two sides of the same coin, they are always linked together in some way in your system, you must feel the associated emotions and suspend your mental adherence to the associated thoughts, beliefs, ideas, and compulsions connected to that trauma and belief system. So it is in going deep into the feeling body, bringing complete awareness to all sensation, all feeling that is moving in your body, and not judging it, not getting lost in the mind. And this is where a tool like a mantra, a visualization, a meditative focus, or some sort of permission slip or tool that allows you to shift your focus away from the thoughts and into your feeling body is key and helpful. So you can also address withdrawal symptoms by using other medicines that can have a similar effect to this, a more addictive drug, but do not have that same detrimental effect on the body. Now understand, as we say this, everything can be used in excess, though there are plants in your world that when used in light or moderate amounts have great potential for healing. So we would say if one is addicted to stimulants, you can use cacao or even green tea as a substitute. If one prefers more downers or painkillers, you can use something like kava as that substitute that helps you to break the addictive cycle while still having some of the relief. Though this is a way to simply bring the intensity of the feelings to a manageable level. You don't want to use any substance to completely cover over feelings, but you can decide for yourself how much intensity of feeling is okay for you at a given moment. Because there is also a fine line where you can be so overwhelmed by your feelings that you, in a sense, lose control or make yourself more vulnerable to impulsive decisions. So you must find that happy medium ground for yourself.
Thank you so much. That was beautiful, as always. I suppose we'll just touch on this for light workers in terms of cigarettes or tobacco. Could you just speak into that for us slightly? Thank you.
Well, tobacco has the medicinal and spiritual use of being a grounding tool. It works to connect you with the earth and as well ancestors. It can be a medicine that is used for prayer and for clearing energy. So understand that the use of it is, in that sense, a subconscious attempt to find either grounding, rooting, or connection to something bigger. And accept that it does work in that way. So don't judge the compulsion. We would encourage to, again, acknowledge the feelings and the thoughts that lead to addictive use. When you are feeling a craving, that might not be the right time to use the medicine. Instead, that is a time to focus on the medicine's frequency. So in the craving, you must ask yourself, how can I use the teaching of this plant to replicate its effects in the here and now? So in the moment of craving, how can you root yourself more? How can you connect yourself to your origins and your ancestors more? How can you clear your energy more? And find ways to do that without the substance. And then if you would choose to use the substance in moments when you are already grounded and clear, you can find that prayerful intention of that substance, in this case tobacco, does and can serve a medicinal and spiritual purpose. Though avoiding its use when you are feeling genuine craving will help you have a healthy relationship so this plant does not become a crutch.
Thank you so much. That will help so many people. Mario in the room has a question.
Hello, Pleiadian Council.
Hello, yes, welcome.
Recently I heard a being from Esasani talk about their Shakana experience, meaning those 3 days where they all became telepathically connected. So I was wondering, besides following our highest excitement, what else can we do? Like, can you provide a permission slip or maybe a visualization so that we as an entire civilization, we move closer to our version of experience of being telepathically connected? Thank you.
Yes. So the issue with telepathy in your world is the reality that you live in a world of great illusion and deception. So in order to get to telepathy, you have to, in a sense, stop deceiving each other and stop deceiving yourselves. So you get there then by expressing yourself honestly and in order to, again, get to telepathic communication, you have to clear what you call your throat chakra. And you clear your throat chakra by honest, clear, and truthful expressions. And much like we said in the beginning, this understanding of truth must incorporate love and beauty as an aspect of it. So sharing your truth in a way that uplifts and brings love to others, as that is an expression of your divinity. Now, you can notice moments where you experience telepathy with other individuals occur after moments of a deep, intimate sharing in which you have brought to the surface everything you are experiencing, thinking, or processing. Use that as a guide to understand how telepathy really takes place. It is once you make everything that is already present within your field clear to others in the ways that you already have to communicate, that then the higher level aspects of communication start taking place. So you can also understand and contrast the false experiences of telepathy in which your projections of the other person became something that you believe. Start to note the difference between these two different experiences and note how the true telepathy takes place as you have shared openly. And the false telepathy takes place when you assume that another person knows what you're experiencing. So you must get to telepathy through clearing your assumptions. Do not assume that anyone knows something that you have yet to communicate. And the more you become clear in your communication, the more these natural psychic centers will start to come online. Also, we would say that the work that you do with your own intuition will support you very much. And again, your intuition is in a sense synonymous with your feeling, frequency, and imagination. So getting to know how to use your imagination and use your heart's emotional guidance system as a way to understand and interpret your reality will lead you more clearly in the direction of telepathy.
Thank you so much. That was amazing.
Yes, so thanks to you as well. So one thing we would add to this is to note the experiences of deception that take place. And the clearest experiences of deception you call advertising. You see it every day on billboards, advertisements, social media posts, and so on and so forth. When someone is attempting to portray something other than the complete truth to hook you, this is an experience of deception and manipulation. So come to ask yourself, when you are witnessing something and you feel a certain prick or discomfort arise, that you might be becoming aware of the subtle things that are not being said in that communication and transmission. You can start to feel when other people are not bringing their truth, because it will bring certain levels of discomfort. And in turn, you will stop attracting people who are deceptive or not untruthful the more you step into your honest and clear truth. Because, again, that is something you communicate with your field. It creates a vibrational resonance that will make liars and deceivers very extremely uncomfortable. They will either not say anything or avoid you when you embody that high degree of truth. Because, again, when your truth is so powerful and loving, lies cannot help but reveal themselves. And a final caveat to that is truthfulness in terms of communicating with balanced and uncorrupt individuals is very different from the idea of truthfulness with corrupt and hierarchical systems. So you don't need to be truthful with those beings or groups of beings that are attempting to exploit you or are governing in unfair ways. So it is okay to lie when your lies serve a purpose. That is the difference between lying to individuals versus lying to those who are already liars. In that sense, playing the game that these corrupt and exploitive systems are playing so that you can navigate away from the lies and deception is simply a part of how you must evolve at this time. And we understand that it is very uncomfortable for those of you who are so connected to the light, but understand that there is nothing wrong in doing this. It is simply a way that you can adapt your energy in the moment to make the best out of situations that are not presently working for everyone's best interest in your world.
Thank you so much.
Or thanks to you.
Hello.
Hello, yes.
So I was gonna ask, I had an experience where I was kind of like in a weird part of town, kind of, and I rolled my car window down, and I felt like kind of like a big like burst of intense, kind of like, I guess, like negative energy. I don't even know what you want to call it, but
All right.
it something like that.
So
Was it like an entity or just like judgment, or yeah?
it was not an entity. It was simply the emotional field around you. You tapped into those emotions and they stuck to you because they triggered an unprocessed fear within you. And this unprocessed fear is something about your own potential to failure, your own potential to, in a way, fall into a state of stagnation. So understand that, again, fears are magnets just as much as hopes are magnets. And it felt as if something stuck to you because this negative energy field deeply activated that fear. And understand, again, that anything that is an entity is a living vibrational field based in fear. And so it is quite hard to distinguish at first between what is simply a fear-based energy within you and what is an externalized fear-based energy with a life of its own. So get to know this fear and deconstruct it. Allow yourself to feel it without believing the thoughts. And as you bring acceptance into it, more and more of this energy field will clear from you. Then start to reorient your focus to those things that you are hopeful of. What things do you feel excited for? What are your greatest hopes of your potential to manifest your own preferred reality? As you allow your focus to rest there, those energy fields will come to life more within you.
Cool. And just to confirm, like the reason why it stuck around was that kind of due to like my judgment of the whole situation, like.
That is related, but not as much directly connected to it. What is causing it to, in a sense, stick around is, yes, your fear of potential failure or potential decay that is triggered by these other individuals. So the judgment is an aspect of that fear, yes.
Thank you.
Yeah, so thanks to you.
Thank you so much.
So we'll say again, one thing about judgment is when you notice yourself judging others you are judging something within yourself. You are judging the same potential or the same frequency within yourself. And that frequency may not be manifest to the same extent that it is manifest in the others that you are judging. But what you are judging is something that exists within you. Make yourself conscious of what you have in common with that which you judge, and own the similarity to own your own shadow. By bringing acceptance into your own shadow, you start to dissolve judgment. Because there are no others, you cannot judge anyone else. You can only judge yourself.
Cool. And so like that kind of made me think about is I've also heard judgment could be used as a tool of our own discernment and something that we don't want to be a part of if we see it in somebody else. And that's kind of interesting that those two things are true. At least I've kind of found that. What do you guys think about that interpretation as well? And also how it relates?
Yes. So discernment and judgment have very much in common. And that is the positive form of judgment that you would call discernment. And to discern versus to judge is simply based in the level of acceptance that you have. When you judge somebody as being wrong, you decide something about them makes them unworthy. Whereas if you discern that frequency is not what I want in my life, you can still see that this person has this and that quality, but you accept that and you simply decide that is not what I prefer. So you must come to a place where you don't judge judgment, because it does lead to discernment. And we understand that it's a bit of a paradox, though we do trust you can integrate that, yes?
Yeah. Yeah, very cool.
When judgment arises, it informs you, yes, of something that you dislike in yourself. And again, it becomes discernment because you don't want to amplify that frequency within yourself through the resonance that you experience in connection with the other. And that is perfectly well and valid. So then, if what you are judging in the other is a genuine negative quality, be aware that you have that quality as well, though use your discernment to create a boundary. The boundary can be taking space from them, but if you are judging somebody who is in a sense, your intimate circle, then you are to bring that negative quality to the light by discussing it openly and sharing your experience of the other and stating the ways in which you would prefer to engage and the ways that you would prefer not to engage.
Yeah. Cool. Thanks for that reflection.
And our thanks to you, yes.
Thank you so much. Great questions and answers. We've got 2 questions from YouTube. Got one from Andre C, who says, when communing with nature, for example, sitting in meditation on the grass, why do animals like ants bite me? What can I do to be in harmony with nature to avoid that from happening? Thank you.
The ants are simply being ants. That is what ants do. Ants find vital sources of nutrients. They explore. They are likely attracted to your body odors and scents and to any remnants of food or plant life that is on you. They are there to explore, and that is really part of how they work. You are not doing anything wrong. Again, nature is creative and destructive. So understand, again, you can see this very clearly in jungle environments, that which you do not actively preserve will be consumed back by nature very rapidly. And the same goes with your body. So it is okay to have defenses and to shoo away insects that you don't want on you, biting you. Maybe you would like to use a blanket or certain essential oils in a spray on your body and your clothes to keep them from coming onto you, though that is only effective in relative terms.
Thank you so much. Hope that's answered that, Andre. And the second question on YouTube is from Igo. What's the best plant medicine for grounding?
That depends on the individual, the occasion, and the frequency of the energy at that time. So generally speaking, when the part of the plant that you take and use as medicine is within the earth, it has more of a grounding effect. And that is why even root vegetables like potatoes and carrots and beets are more grounding food. They take the energy from within the earth into your body. Hence, then plant medicines like kava, which you use the root of, are very grounding. And you could say even ayahuasca is very grounding, though it is also cosmic and opening. Tobacco, you can consider a grounding plant medicine. Medicines that grow as bushes or shrubs near the earth are more grounding than foods, plants, medicines that grow very high. Those are the medicines that teach you to grow upwards and move towards the light. So just by understanding that function, you can discern the kinds of effects the plant may have. A very interesting plant you could use metaphorically to understand deeper nuance of this is one of datura. It grows up, but the flower faces down, meaning it is the light descending into the darkness, descending into the earth. So every plant will show you in a unique way what it is doing simply by the way that it grows.
That's so beautiful. Thank you. I hope that's answered for the questions. Would you care to speak about your take on nut allergies, if they cause anaphylactic reactions?
Sometimes this could be caused by build up toxins within your body. Sometimes it is caused by deeply repressed emotions, though you can attempt to solve them with thorough and complete detox of heavy metals and of toxins from food, doing liver cleanses, colon cleanses, and things of this nature. Generally speaking, many of these allergies will stick around. So it might simply be a reflection that those plants are not the ones that your body really needs.
Thank you so much. Would anyone in the Zoom have a question? We've got a question on YouTube then while we wait for the Zoom from Elena. She asks, dear friends, could you provide a permission slip for healing addiction to sugar? Thank you and much love.
Well, understand to some degrees your body needs sugar. So you are only expanding something that your body must process to a degree. start by incorporating fruit sugar on empty stomachs, understanding as well that sugar, when combined with other food, especially fat, will create spikes in your blood sugar level more than when you simply consume it on its own, because sugar metabolizes very quickly, whereas the other things will take longer to metabolize. Hence, combining sugar with other food can sometimes be part of the problem. Now, then you would come to ask yourself, again, which emotion or pattern am I avoiding or suppressing through my use of sugar? What am I seeking to escape from? And getting comfortable going into that emotional space. And if you encounter a belief in that emotional space about yourself, finding ways to, again, prove or view the opposite belief, the opposite program. If you believe you are unworthy, look for evidence that you are worthy and affirm that to yourself to shift that pattern bit by bit. Now, sugar is also a way that you as humans tend to compensate for a perceived experience of a lack of sweetness in life. So you must look at which beliefs about yourself or about reality cause you to believe that life is not as sweet, not as beautiful, and not as delicious as it really is. Shift those belief systems and, again, use the experience of your senses to take in the sweetness. There is sweetness in the look of every flower. There's sweetness in the breeze in the trees. There is sweetness in the sweet running water. There is sweetness in the eyes of the other. There's sweetness simply in the way that you touch and stroke your own body. There's sweetness in the comfort of your bed and the cushions around you. Everything can be sweet and delicious if you bring your senses into the experience. So when there is an addiction to sensory stimulation, it often is an indication that you are not bringing your complete awareness into your sensory experience. Understand that awareness is key to enjoyment, and you live in a world that prioritizes extremes, where so many of you are addicted to things that move and shock your system quicker. So you must come to learn to experience subtle sensations as just as powerful and profound. You can even start by the sensation of your finger rubbing up against your arm and simply noticing all of the ways that touch feels. As you eat, you can slow down your eating and move the food as you chew over all parts of your tongue, noticing the subtle sensations, noticing what memories you associate with that food. Notice the way sensation changes in your body. For the deeper you go into the sensory experience of complete awareness, the more satisfaction you will draw from it quicker. We trust that with this, and again, with that understanding of perhaps belief systems and chosen perceptions robbing you of life's sweetness, you will start to shift from this pattern, and anyone can start to shift from this pattern.
Thank you. That helped us all so well. I suppose we'll just ask on that subject. Would you say that that is an inevitable part of all of our awakenings, that we are destined to and will all come into that very one-pointed awareness in our physicality?
Not everyone. Hopefully most of you, yes. But that is certainly a part of what you could call a path to embodiment, or a path to ascension or integration. In a sense, those are all aspects of the same awakening path. And it does involve not a one-pointed focus, but a full spectrum focus, where you are able to take in all of the information and bring awareness into every aspect of your experience, awareness into every aspect of your body, awareness into every aspect of your emotional field, of your imagination, of your mind, so that there is nothing left out. That is, in a sense, what it means to be whole and what it means to be integrated.
Thank you for that, for everyone. Josh in the Zoom room has a question.
Yes.
Hello, Great Council. Thank you again for everything.
Oh, well, thanks to you as well.
I have a bit of a balancing question. It's
All
in
right.
regards to keeping one's stability in the current state of the collective. At times there's, and maybe it's a built-in habit of wanting to help the collective or kind of taking on their pain. Yet at the same time, there's also knowing that not everyone's going to be open to certain ideas because of the various things in their situation. So how can one balance themselves in that state while still wanting to help, yet not wanting to, in a sense, one, feel the pain of those who aren't necessarily ready for this, but then two, not necessarily keep it all in a negative light?
Yes. The first thing we'll say is many of you attempt to support others by taking on their energy and transforming it in your own body through your own field. And this doesn't actually work. It appears to work because you can help somebody move and mitigate some of the symptoms of their depression, anxiety, which is again caused by their behaviors, which are rooted in their belief systems. So, and their belief systems are, again, caused by their trauma and their conditioning. So you then must understand that all you are doing is skimming away the surface level muck while still allowing the decay and bacteria at the bottom of the pool of their consciousness to be there. And in order to actually help them, you have to put your hands in that dirty pool and take out the stuck, stagnating, and decaying things. But people have to be willing and open for you to come into their field and do that. And if they are not, well, again, you don't even do that. They do that themselves, but you can support them and show them the way. But they have to be willing to do it completely. So the other way, the effective way of bringing in a healing energy is not by taking in their muck, but by sharing your light and sharing your love and allowing them to receive that and take that in. So you cannot heal others by matching their frequency. You only heal them by bringing them to match your frequency. And if somebody is resistant to doing that, the gap again between your frequency and their frequency will generate a greater disparity between you. Their pain will feel worse because your joy feels so different from it. And if you, again, believe that lowering your frequency actually helps somebody else, you won't be able to maintain that joy. So you have to reinforce the belief that there is absolutely no purpose to intentionally or unintentionally lowering your frequency for another person. And then your work becomes simply filling yourself with light and joy, which you do by being who you are. And you discover more of who you are by allowing your passion, joy, and excitement to guide you to matching resonant frequencies. And you accelerate that process by letting go of insistence on outcomes and trusting the process of how you are guided to the things you are guided to. So again, when you stay high in your frequency, not everyone will be able to receive that light. And you have to trust that the people that don't come directly to your light are not the people you need in your life. Let them go back to their pain and their despair. Trust that that is the medicine they need because that is the choice they are making. Again, one of the highest expressions of love in your world is choice. Love and choice are directly correlated, and you love other people the most by honoring the choices they make, whether those are choices to hurt themselves or to help themselves. Have respect for the sacredness of that choice. And you can still express your truth that it causes you pain to see them choose that negative reality, yet you love and hold them with respect despite any of the choices that they may make.
That is fantastic. Thank you greatly for this.
Yes, our thanks to you as well.
Maybe a small follow-up to that question, if I may.
Yes.
Would this be similar to something I've heard about the Eastern methods of yoga, which is a bit like stretching the mind to then stretch the body? This idea to stretch this vision of ourself, or this vision of what is possible in this reality.
Yes, that is in a way a mental stretching exercise. You stretch your own notions of what is real and what is true to get a sense of what your belief systems actually are. So by playing with your imagination, perhaps you imagine yourself being very wealthy and having all of these things that could be great. And you notice what that feels like. And then you notice parts of you that say that could not be true, that could not be real, that is not possible for you. Then you notice where your belief systems limit you to something. You can also play with that with the idea of anything you want to manifest, from relationships to careers to connections to psychic gifts, anything you want to manifest. Play with the idea of having it to see the parts of you that are still in resistance to having it by not believing it is possible. And the more you do that, the more you can understand the way that your belief systems bring you exactly what you believe to be true, and sometimes a little bit more.
Thank you greatly. This is awesome.
Yes, so thanks to you as well.
Hello, Pleiadian Council. How are you doing today?
Oh, yes, we are fantastic. And how about you?
Having many discoveries and learning and that of the sort. Always learning something.
Oh, congratulations.
Well, my first question is, what if my truth, which comes from love and beauty, can still cause discomfort?
That is all right. That is informing you and the other of the gap between your realities. And in those cases, there is no need to push or impose your truth on others. The discomfort becomes disruption when you impose your truth on others. When you allow that discomfort to be there, you and the other can experience the gap without overcompensating for it.
Okay, yes, that makes sense. I can see that.
Because again, understand that the discomfort can also arise when your truth negates the other person's truth. When you say this and this alone is true, that will always generate discomfort. So that can be another factor there. If you are truly willing to accept the reality of other people's truths, then there is no discomfort.
Okay.
And then if you are in that state, and there is still discomfort, that means the other person is incapable of holding two contradictory truths as both true, which we understand is a complex thing to do. So you cannot expect everyone to be able to do that.
Okay. This is a new concept for me, so I'm wrapping my head around this one.
We
So
understand it takes time.
I'm not going to ask too many questions, so I'll just ask one more. How do I remember the oneness of who I am in relationship to the all?
Do you have experiences of source?
Yes, one experience.
What was that experience?
So this experience was, I discovered through my research that if I were to speak in tongues in my mind, that it will allow the all to reveal itself to me. And so I did this right before I went to sleep. And what I felt was, I felt every single cell in my body tingle. And I was feeling excited and happy because that's how I knew that was the all, which is the space between all things, which you've mentioned earlier, where you said that it is the space in a room can serve as a tool. And I know that because that space itself is the all.
Yes. So that sensation of your body vibrating, can you remember it?
Yes, this happened recently. So it felt
Can
very
you
tingly. It felt
remember
like,
it in a physical way now just by imagining that your body is doing it again?
yes, I can. Yeah, I can do that.
And as you do that, do you experience some of that sensation returning?
I can if I focus long enough.
So we encourage you to continue to do that. Any moment that you want to deepen your source connection, imagine that sensation you experience, but don't attempt to recreate the exact same experience. Use the tongues in your mind as a tool if you would like. You can also imagine your body vibrating, glowing light from every cell, and deepen into this and continue to remember the feeling of that connection. As the more that you remember what it felt like and intend for that experience to return, again, without insistence on how it manifests in the moment, being open to the fluctuations of the intensity of the state and being open to the fluctuations of the experience of the state, you will find that you can return to source consciousness again and again and again.
I'm feeling it right now. And I wasn't even doing anything. I was just listening to you, and now I feel it.
Yes. And you can see how simple it is, and that you can do that in any moment you like.
Yes, it feels very peaceful. It feels there's a distinction between peace and calmness. Calmness is a state in which you feel. Peace is actually something that you can enjoy. It's almost like enjoying silence, if that makes sense, enjoying yourself.
Yes.
So that's what I'm feeling right now. That's how I'm describing it.
Well done then.
So now you're saying take this and keep doing this until I remember my oneness.
Well, you are remembering oneness every time you return to the state, because again, that peacefulness is an expression of the one, and is, in a sense, that reminder that everything is unified. If everything is unified, there is nothing to fear. So as you continue to do this, you will be more able to return to that state, and also you will be able to experience the world around you as a reflection of your own energy. You can notice when you bring this peacefulness and this powerful source energy into interactions that you do and people that you meet, you will experience a reflection of that energy. And that will also in turn show you that the way the world shows up for you is simply a reflection of what you are doing with your energy. You can also play with the idea of exploring similarity. What do you have in common with people around you? The more you notice those things that unite you, the more you will experience yourself as part of a bigger field. an interconnected field. You can even notice what you have in common with inanimate objects. Because again, the more you orient your consciousness to explore similarity and connectedness, the more that you will lose a sense of individuality and, well, not necessarily individuality, lose a sense of
Separation.
disconnection and experience a sense that you are a part of the whole.
Yes, this is a very great experience to return to. I'll definitely do that.
No, thanks to you.
Thank you so much. It's about 1:15. We've got 3 questions in YouTube and 2 questions in the Zoom room.
Let us continue then.
Do you have a preference of who we go to first?
One from YouTube first.
So the first one from YouTube is from Living Poetry, and they state, I've recently uncovered a deep and painful layer of myself, and I'm not sure how to deal with it. I've been overlaying falsely positive realities over the objective, and I feel it's a form of disassociation. Do you have any suggestions on how to deal with something like this? It feels relative to the collective too.
Yes. So one thing we would suggest is to play with the exploration of worst case scenarios, as this is a, again, oppositional pattern. And whenever you find yourself stuck in one polarity, you always want to explore the exact opposite. So to break from attachments to unrealistic and idealized filters and perspectives, play with the opposite, which would be what you can call a worst case scenario. So if the very worst thing happened, what would that be in any given situation? And then get in touch with the emotion that is there. Understand again that so many of these bypassing strategies are ways to avoid emotion, but feeling the emotion is the path to healing the emotion. So once you get to the very end of that situation in your mind and you feel the emotion it triggers, simply be present with that emotion. Do this in a peaceful and loving atmosphere, and then allow yourself to disconnect with the vision and simply focus on the feelings and sensations in your body. Allow those emotions to be present, and perhaps you visualize light coming in through your crown, through your root, into your heart, and throughout your entire body to clear the emotional debris as it surfaces. Perhaps you use a mantra or an affirmation so that you don't get stuck in the currents of the mind as you do this, and make all of your focus on feeling. Then as you continue to do this, you will get comfortable in uncomfortable sensations. And once you are comfortable in what is uncomfortable, you will not need to use false positivity to distort reality so that it feels comfortable. Then that as a permission slip will allow you to make practical changes in your life. You can start to notice from that point certain situations and engagements that you have manifest or generated are not matching the idealized versions you've created in your mind. And so you can make efforts to bridge the gap. And that means having boundaries, expressing desires, expressing limits and preferences, making sure that your truth comes fully online. And it can then mean removing yourself from many situations and bringing yourself into those that feel more aligned, more at ease and comfortable. So use this dream vision of those things that light you up the most as emotional guidance programs. Again, the purpose of visualizing anything is to bring yourself into a frequency. Your attachment to the visions will always lead you into some form of distortion. And that is why no insistence on outcomes and no attachment to expectations are key parts of the formula, which are the more challenging part for most of you, and that is all right. Simply remember that your feeling state is the most important thing, and your feeling state is in the most powerful place it can be when your awareness is holistic, meaning that you are not using one emotion to avoid other emotions, that you are simply expanding your awareness into every area that is comfortable or discomfortable, or that is easy to feel and difficult to feel, and holding them all simultaneously. By doing this, you break away any compartmentalization in your field and make everything that is unconscious conscious. And again, that is the path to wholeness and the path to reality.
Thanks. Are you complete, Mario or Miguel? This is Sarah, and
Hello.
I'm just really resonating. Hi, nice to be with you again. Really resonating with all of this, especially this feeling of the totality. I'm still passing through the birth canal of trying to claim my house back and wanting my housemate to move, because it very much feels like we are in different timelines, and it has been like labor and delivery. I have been trying since March, and every time there's like, it's almost like giving birth. There's this contraction of you have to move, and then there's some circumstance like the house she moves to is going to move to needs its septic system fixed, or because the person buying the house can't buy the house yet, or the next, or there's always something, and it's been leveling out, and where I get to where like, okay, I guess it's all good, I guess I can stay here. I've been processing another life where she was my child, and and she died in infancy, and I've been working through that. I've been pushing through that, and I just got back from Venice Beach, back to this home in Portland, and last night I kind of smashed my head in the airplane, um, and my suitcase like smashed into. I've been having different accidents with my suitcase, and it feels like I'm punishing myself. I just like, because to push her out is to let her down and be mean, and I'm having this soul evolutionary push to get my life. There's something coming in my life that needs me to have my home to my own self, but there's just this major guilt, and yeah, it's just really super intense. I've got a partial concussion right now, and I'm here in the house with this person, of course, and I'm just like ready. I just want to jump out of my skin. So that's my introduction.
All right. So
God.
this is an opportunity to process and release the programs of guilt and shame around asserting yourself and your boundaries. As your ability to stand up for yourself and be yourself was limited and constricted in your development, you still have these trauma responses and belief systems that say to tend to yourself first is something wrong. So it feels as if what you are doing is wrong. But again, remembering and affirming that what you are doing is an act of self-care, is an act of self-love, and therefore it is an act of love for the all, because what you are doing is necessary for your own state of balance and harmony. And with that awareness, you can continue to ask this person to leave and give them, in a sense, a deadline, trusting that they have other resources for temporary stays until they find something that will suit them long term.
Okay, that makes sense. Yeah, we did give, I hate the word deadline. We did give a lifeline of jumping off, you know. Feels like kind of like Frank and I are the mother and father bird, and we're kind of in the fledgling, you know, that our housemate is in the fledgling state, and we're just pushing off the nest, and you know, hoping that what empowers the self does empower the all, and having to trust in that. And it's just been this, yeah. Okay, I hear what you're saying. It also feels deeper than personal, even. It feels almost like a tribal block. It feels like there's actually a block in the entire tribe of humanity to push forth and go further than the masses of humanity. I can feel that sense of like, oh, we're supposed to stay with the status quo, with the masses. They have a certain line. And if we jump way beyond that line, we're betraying the entire tribe. And I really feel like
Yes.
that's part of what I'm processing. That's why it's so gigantic.
Yes. So understand that the head injury is a metaphor for this. Look at it in this way, in that the head is associated with your sun sign, Aries. So the key aspect of that sign is individuality. But instead, so much of your focus is directed to the collective that you are forgetting the all. And so by extricating yourself from the collective matrix and returning to your own personal field, you will find the healing you need. You must remember that if you give yourself over to the collective current completely, you are in a state of self-forgetting. And in that state of self-forgetting, you are also forgetting what gifts you have to serve the collective. So in a sense, it is time for you to dissociate a bit from the collective field and from the field of others and return to the space in your own head.
Very cool. Thank you so much. It helps
Yes,
so
thanks
much.
to you as well.
Thank you. We've got a YouTube question and then back to the Zoom room. The YouTube question is, can I ask about your insight on how our hormones and body rhythms may guide us or distract us?
Your hormones are guiding you to states of connection and disconnection. They are rhythms. When your hormones are saying you need other bodies to express yourself and you listen to those impulses, you will find that your body experiences relief, healing, rejuvenation, and transformation. When your body says you must take space, experience distance between self and other, retreat and hibernate, again, in honoring that, you are stepping in alignment with what your body needs for healing, rejuvenation, and integration. The idea that your hormones distract you is simply the outcome of the distortions present in your religions and systems that teach you cannot trust your body and you cannot trust your sexuality, because your body and all of its impulses and cravings are a natural part of who you are that are necessary for your self-expression and experience. You can use your hormones in distracting ways if you choose to engage sexually with other people who are not present for emotional connection, as the highest expressions of sexuality are soul bonding intimacy. So that is the only way that this could be a potential distraction.
That's wonderful. Thank you. Could I ask, just as a sideline on that, when like a woman is feeling really hormonal and wanting a child, obviously you're saying that's a natural part of it. It's my understanding that not all humans obviously are here to procreate.
Yes, that is correct. Though, again, this hormonal impulse is, you could say, a signal that if that is something relevant for you in the moment, that is the most opportune time to do it. So when you are feeling that way, you have to then assess with all of your values and belief systems and desires, is that desire something that is truly reflective of your soul's purpose?
That's beautiful. Thank you so much. Mario in the Zoom room has a question.
Thank you. I would like to ask about a blue light, which I'm seeing from the window where I live, like it's in the clouds. And I know that this light is connected to serious consciousness. My question is, how could I establish more conscious contact or communication with them? If you could provide me with the permission slip, I would be very grateful. Thank you.
Should you ever be seeing craft in the sky, know that what you are seeing is seeing you. So you can use your thoughts as a means to interact. Perhaps you signal to whatever sight or craft you are seeing, if you are aware of me, please do something to indicate it, and notice if it moves or shifts. If none of that happens, then simply visualize or imagine that connection between you and whatever you are witnessing going deeper. Notice the light perhaps seeping into your body with blue light going to every cell, and imagine what that might look like or feel like, or simply bring awareness to the sensation that happens as you view it. Again, always by following your passion and following the formula, you are increasing the probability of contact and the depth of contact.
Thank you very much.
Yes, sir, thanks to you.
We have a YouTube question from Calum Ariel, who asks, what is the most relevant information to fast tracking the highest and best timeline for all life forms? Much love.
To this, we would point back to the idea of this formula that we, in a sense, share or borrow with other extraterrestrial beings informing your world. Again, follow your highest passion to the best of your ability with zero insistence on a particular outcome. This leaves absolutely nothing out. It means tuning into yourself and asking yourself, out of everything you could do, every activity, every study, every individual personal engagement, every artistic expression, everything that is possible for you, which of them lights your heart up with the most electric, passionate, joyous frequency available? Follow that, engage with that to the very best you can, but let go of your insistence that one particular thing must be the outcome of that. As you follow your passion, be open that at any moment a different fork can come in the road, leading you to engage with something else that is exciting. It is the frequency of passion alone that guides you. That is your higher mind communicating with you. And again, your higher mind communicates with you through your heart, and that is the place where you know your passion more than any other area more. So stay tuned with your heart and let the things that light you up with joy guide you and move you in the directions that you prefer. We can expand on this a bit to suit the questioner by affirming again. Also, it has to do with sharing that passion with others in a way that lights their passion up as well. So when you co-create and collaborate with others who share similar passions to you, you expand that. The more people that come together united by similar passions, the more potent the energy field. That is why when you do group meditations or processes or experiences, the field becomes stronger. When you collaborate and when you unite with other people who share your passions and their power becomes more potent.
Thank you. That was incredible. We've got a question from the Zoom room.
Hi, thank you. I'm so grateful for this session again, Pleiadian Council. Thank you. Question about your perspective on gemstones, planetary gemstones, either meditating with them and or wearing them. Thank you.
The geometric shapes of the present at subatomic levels of the stones has a frequency that is imparted into your energy field, as well as the colors and the textures that you experience through the stone. Each of them is also a living consciousness form that can attract subtle realm energies that you may know as fairies or elementals into the stones. They also are resonating with your intentions as conscious entities. So as you share your intentions with the stones and you treat them well, they can amplify said intentions. You can note which frequencies you lack, again, by your awareness of or sensation of the frequencies in the stones that excites you the most. When you naturally follow your impulses to connect with certain stones more than others, you will usually find the frequencies that uplift you the very most. But again, remember that these are permission slips. So for some, having the stones around is very helpful because they may not have that ability to actively remember to use different tools to bring in energies. At the same time, for other individuals, having and wearing, say, for example, citrine or another golden stone is the same as visualizing gold light circulating in the body. So you can get to know stones and you can visualize their energy within your body circulating in your system to have the same effect that the stone has without having it physically present. But again, having it around is useful because then you have a physicalized reminder to connect with that frequency. But at a certain point, you don't need it. And that is also why the stones keep working with you even after you take them off, because you have some level of memory that it has been with you and its vibration is in your field.
Thank you. So grateful for that insight and information. Thank you.
Yes, sir. Thanks to you as well.
Thank you. A question on children. Could you speak into, is it fair to say that every child that is born chooses to experience obviously some level of trauma from going through the illusion of separation? But is it more fair to say now that it's our projections of that they're traumatized, that they have trauma, than that they're actually experiencing it?
Well, they are experiencing conditioning. And yes, every soul agrees to conditioning in order to incarnate here. So the idea of trauma, again, is challenging emotion that is not held space for, that is not able to be processed. And because it cannot be processed and released in the moment, it then crystallizes into a negative belief about oneself related to that emotional experience. So you can support children in not having trauma by making all of their emotions valid, by validating everything they're feeling, even if it is illogical and irrational, allowing them the space to feel it and release it, and giving them attention when they are in negative emotion. Trauma happens when you withdraw your attention from children in an experience of negative emotion. However, that is unfortunately a relatively recent parenting strategy. So many of you have been raised by parents who chose to ignore you when you were expressing negative emotion. And that becomes why negative emotion gets trapped in the body. It's because it was ignored. And that is what leads for all of you to then fall into traps of ignoring, suppressing, or denying your own negative emotions. So then by again, bringing attention to children when they are emoting and affirming to them positive beliefs, positive affirmations, positive ideas about themselves, regardless of what they are feeling, you can help them move through the emotional experience of life and develop a positive sense of self and the ability to process and self-regulate emotion. Understand that if individuals are brought up in healthy ways, they get to learn how to self-regulate emotions easily. But children cannot self-regulate emotion. Hence, they need you to do that with them. And that is challenging for parents who were not taught to self-regulate emotion. And that is why learning how to hold space for yourself is vital and key for you to be a good parent.
That's incredible. Thank you. So is that like our next generations are literally the proof of whatever we have to heal, because the fact that you've said they can't self-regulate, it's on us.
Yes, it's on you to teach them and guide them the way.
Incredible.
And then they will come to be teachers of you.
Yeah.
But in a sense, of course, they already are teachers of you as they reflect to you so much that you can see about yourself.
Yeah. Thank you. We've got a YouTube question from Carly Gal, who's asked, can you tell us when we're doing embodied channeling or using permission slips like pendulums, how to test for a bias?
When using a permission slip like a pendulum, you can ask the question, are my belief systems influencing the information that I am receiving? And should you get a yes, you can ask to what extent, and perhaps you get a number. Perhaps you are shown the degree of intensity, and then you may go deeper and come to inquire which belief systems they may be that are influencing you in that way. Because yes, your expectations and your beliefs do influence and affect so many of these permission slips. But the truth about intuition is that you are always guided by what you perceive to be true. And so it is not necessarily wrong that these tools are affected by your preconceived notions of things, because they are only acting as a reflection to steer you in the direction that you would naturally go on your own anyway. And that is the path of learning how to clear your conditioning patterns so that you have a more complete awareness of everything involved. Is something missing from that answer?
It was a YouTube question, so I'm feeling like that would be whole and complete. I'll wait and see if they write anything else.
Right.
Anyone in the Zoom room looking for a question? Yep, go for that.
Okay, so my next question is, how do spirits easily go against gravity without outside forces?
They are not physical. So gravity as a physical law does not apply to them.
Would I be able to use my spirit to go against gravity in that case?
If you are able to astral project and bring all of your awareness into your astral body and disconnect temporarily your astral body from your physical body, then yes.
Okay, so okay, so now so that's connected with that. Okay, so then that already answers my next question already. How can I manipulate matter that is invisible to me to, let's say, for example, to lift things in the air?
Well, you first of all then have to dissolve more completely the sense that you are separate from the world around you, and understand that location is a variable of the object. Hence, your frequency is different where you are sitting versus when you are sitting across the room. Location is an aspect of an object's frequency. So what you are doing is not moving the object, you are changing the frequency of the object first by dissolving the sense that you are separate from the object, and then knowing that your awareness of frequency can adapt the object's frequency. This is very advanced work, and you will have to clear many beliefs in order to get to this place, but that's what it would look like.
Wow, that's very insightful and useful. Thank you.
Yes, sir, thanks to you.
That was amazing. Thank you. It's 10 to the hour. Just checking in. I'll ask a quick question. Would you speak into if all births are destined on Earth, as in when a female and a male, well, when someone chooses to have a baby or biologically, is that because the soul is calling to come, or is there actually a choice that human biology can make?
It is both. There is the soul level choice of the parents to allow that life form to come forward, and the soul then chooses to connect to that particular fetus and baby. So it is a choice on every level. And even when souls realize they will be aborted or that they will be miscarried, that is a choice they make. And many souls do choose that simply for a taste of physical reality without getting the full shebang, and as a gift to the parents to help them get the experience of the challenging lessons that, while they are not pleasant, do serve soul evolution.
That's beautiful. Thank you. Let me know if you want any more questions.
No, that will be all for now.
Thank you.
Let us continue then with a brief meditation. Bring all of your awareness into the center of your chest. And picture on the left side of your heart a brilliant golden light like that of the sun. Picture on the right side a dark void like that of a black hole. And see in the center a pendulum that starts to move back and forth. It moves from the light into the darkness, from the light into the darkness, from the darkness into the light, and back and forth. As this pendulum moves back and forth, feel the fluctuations in your body. Notice the movement of sensation, the movement of emotion. Use this as a metaphor for the ways you connect and disconnect, the ways that emotion goes from positive to negative and back again. Come to accept all of these fluctuations. Know that every return to the light brings a greater brightness, a greater clarity. And every return to the darkness brings greater mystery, greater discovery. Because darkness does not imply negativity. Darkness is simply what is unknown. When you dissolve the fear of what is unknown, you allow yourself to explore every possibility, every emotional reality, every potential version of yourself. Adjusting and accepting the cycles allows you to be complete, allows you to be whole. Just as darkness is not complete without light, and light not complete without darkness. Every part of you is valid and necessary here. So there is nothing to avoid. When you trust, the cycles will plan out just the way they need to. The pendulum will keep moving naturally on its own. All you need to do is bring in your awareness and acceptance and trust that the movement will always allow you to drop deeper into your own love of self and all. We thank you very much for allowing us to share this transmission with you in this moment of your time. And we thank you for bringing it into your soul essence, embodying it, and transmitting it through your very being to the world so that your world as well may change and become more reflective of a holistic state of being, more reflective of integration and integrity, of higher dimensional love into material form. Our love and thanks is with you, and we wish you a pleasant rest of your day.
Thank you so much.
Very cool. Thanks, everybody.
Amazing. Amazing.
Of course.
So cool.
Thank you. That was awesome.
Thank you. Awesomeness, man.
You're welcome. Thanks for making it a reality and being a part of it, everyone.
Thank you, Dante, so much. So much gratitude.
You're very welcome.
And that meditation, my gosh.
Yeah, you had a good experience with that?
So potent and immediate, right, guys? So visual.
Yeah, I was able to see it. I was seeing it right as he was as they were describing it.
Wow. It's interesting. I love the meditations. They just come out of nowhere, and it's like an instant like shift. It's sometimes I question what's happening, you know, but it's all happening.
How are you?
I'm great. I love it. Feeling really energized and alive.
You like in Asheville? Is that home?
Yeah. While we're all here, maybe Emily or Sarah or somebody, do you want to say something about like your experience with the channeling course? Because there's an opportunity for people to hop back into that in the next round in just a month.
I mean, for me, it's foundational to next level human. Like every time I need to deepen, I can go back to it because it's timeless. That's how I feel with it. It's not like some fashionable idea that's out there. It's foundational to like the deeper truths, because Dante, you're so embodied. You're so embodied. So every time I've gone back to it, it's like, it's not like, oh, I've missed a bit. It's more like you're talking about things up here and I get to integrate deeper and notice what you were really saying. And then each time I'm like, oh, really saying? Oh, really saying.
Wow. That's so cool that you keep coming back to it. I'm really happy to hear that. And yeah, I mean, everyone has lifetime access to the course when they join. And I guess it's like 14 hours of content or something. So
yeah,
on top of the weekly sessions that are about 2 hours. So, I mean, it's really fun for me. And yeah, no, I don't know if anyone else has more to say.
I'll say some stuff. Sure. So for me, it was, it really just kind of opened me up to being able to give myself, we always talk about permission slips, right? Like it really gave me a permission slip to just open the flow and see what comes forward. And I think that was the most fun because I thought, oh, I have to know exactly what I'm doing and I have to have an exact group of entities that I can name, or, you know, a person, like a collective, you know, that has a name and blah, blah, blah. And I learned that it's really a lot more free and fluid. And I learned to just kind of take a paintbrush and be able to just draw forth whatever's coming. And nobody had ever given me that idea that it could be so kind of free, right? Because my soul is configured in such a vast freedom that it doesn't really do well with, like, I am now channeling this or that, right? It's more like just the person comes to me and asks a question, and then I get to see their guides and their star family. You know, I'm kind of like the universal broadcast system, and I didn't know I could do that. I thought that must not quite be channeling. That's not it. But so I really got to see it in a broader perspective. And I love the content as well. I haven't really gone back to it as much. I haven't felt that need or sense of to go back, but maybe I will now that I'm listening to Emily. But it's awesome that you keep it there, you know, for us. It's just amazing. And then just the community, meeting everyone and practicing channeling with people and getting to know people. I mean, it's how I got to know Ocean and Daiga, and, you know, some people that I just absolutely adore. So yeah, so that's my little testimonial.
Thank you, Sarah. Yeah.
Sure.
Yeah, I appreciate that. And like one aspect of that I can affirm that I appreciate about my own work is just the dissolving, like the dogmas and the rigidity and the, you know, a lot of metaphysical and spiritual things have a certain rigidity to them where there's rules and there's right and wrong ways of doing it. And what I intend to do with everyone I work with, and especially in the course, is to just bring out people's unique gifts and let everyone know they're valid and the way that their gifts show up is valid. So we break through any of the conditioning that we receive to just come to understand our goodness. And that's what I intend to bring out in everyone.
Yeah.
Josh, you're here too. I don't know if you have anything to say. You already gave a video that I'll probably upload soon, but
I wish I was able to contain all the things I would love to say about this in a single sentence or two, but it's like, it just opens so many doors of interconnection and now that rigidity that we were kind of brought up with in school or in, you know, it has to be this way or that way. And it's like, no, it was completely open. I love the way that you brought this, the fluidity aspect of it. And especially like going within and understanding that intuition, imagination, you know, the Western terms that we learn for them, you can kind of toss them away. And knowing that it's like this aspect of interconnection with the soul, the transcendence aspect of it. Like there's so much more to these two things that we weren't really told in school or even in society that you've just brought out in such a powerful way. And yeah, like as Emily said, the going back within to that energy, and which then sends us back without, you know, gets us more into this interconnection with everyone as we dismantle these dogmas within us, within what we've been or how we've been taught. And then it just creates this massive openness. And it's fantastic. Again, like, thank you, because geez, it felt like opening a waterfall and then kind of being like, okay, well, I'm ready to take this to take this massive ride, because it all the things that were suppressed because of the boxes, perceptual boxes that we were stuck in, and just tapping into that open fluidity, being comfortable with the paradox, you know, it's been fantastic. Thank you.
So welcome. Thank you for that feedback, and just everything affirms like why I'm doing this. So I'm living my joy through doing this. So I thank everyone who makes it possible to transform the world and be a part of that, and going out and transforming the world in your own ways. So yeah, amazingness. And what else? Oh yeah, the private transmission is tomorrow. We're going to talk about the C word and everything related to that, the V word and things related to that. I don't even know what's going to come through, but I know it's going to be interesting. So you can buy a admission, or you can buy the recording afterwards, same price. And if you buy the recording afterwards already because you know you can't attend, you can submit questions. My email address should be in the comments on YouTube, which is also my PayPal if you like to donate. And I don't have anything else to say, but if anyone else wants to add something or just chit chat at this point, all is welcome.
Dante, I was just wanted to say how grateful I am for this experience and for all these communications, and thanks to all of these people who made this possible.
Yeah.
And
Thank you,
really
Mario.
really looking forward tomorrow for this transmission.
Me too.
I wanted to say something as well before this ends. I wanted to say that every question I ask, there is always a poke in my logic that I haven't seen before. So it's almost like pointing out the blind spots that I didn't notice before, or putting two and two together that I didn't think about combining before. And so it always gives me a new perspective every time I ask a question, because it's always something that I didn't think about before, or it's always something that I didn't ever looked at it like that before. So it's always a new perspective, or it's or it could be poking a hole in my logic and how I thought something worked when it actually works a different way. So it's always expanding. It's always expanding newness, the wisdom that I gain from my research in combination with everything, all the answers that I get is very helpful and useful. And like today, I wasn't expecting to feel God. Like I was expecting to feel the tingling sensation that I wasn't expecting that. So that was definitely a surprising. That was surprising. Like the last time I felt that was probably like a month or two ago, and ever since then, I was attempting to recreate that without me realizing that I was supposed to just let it come in. And that's something that I need to realize as well, is that it just comes in whenever it wants to come in. I don't have to force a certain event to happen, which goes back to what the Pleiadian Council is saying about not having an expectation of a specific outcome to be so prevalent. So like, which also ties into just letting things happen. And so, yes, very good. It's a very good channeling, and always detailed and always bringing me new perspectives.
Thank you, Miguel. I'm really happy to hear that, and really happy to hear that you were able to experience like source or God, whatever you call that, in your way here. So that's like the core intention of this, is to bring us all into that state. So thanks for anchoring that for us. And with what you're saying, like, I agree. It's always, you know, so many of the transformations that we go through on this path is coming to understand, coming to reconcile contradictions that exist within our own consciousness, that we think that things are either this way or that way, but it's always this and that. So that understanding that comes through is one of the most helpful things whenever we find confusion. How can both things be true? And I think that was the theme of this transmission, really.
Yeah, it really reminds me of like Gene Key 28, which is totality, right? You have to embrace the fullness. And I was on the beach yesterday and I just felt that like total extreme of duality and allowing all of it. And then there was this third field that emerged in the embracing and inclusion of all of it. And I was like, and so it's so cool that that was the theme today, because that's what I was like really feeling was the sort of the answer to like the angst just increasing to such a point. It was like, okay, this is the birth canal that's birthing the non-dual consciousness. And so it's totally affirmed everything. That's what happens for me in these channelings. Everything I'm already thinking really gets affirmed, which is really cool. And I think it's because, like, you know, I exist in the Pleiadian Council,
Yeah.
with you, as an ambassador. So as you're speaking, it's just affirming. I'm starting to get everything. It's like, whoa, cool. So thank
Well,
you,
that's,
Dante. It's
you
great
know,
to see you up and
well,
about and
me
doing
too.
your service.
Yeah,
And we love you.
back in it.
Yeah, I will see you tomorrow. Looking forward to that.
Me too, yeah.
Dante, YouTube's asking if they pay to come to the live session, will they get sent the recording as well?
Yes. Everyone who comes to the live session also gets the recording.
Okay, fab. I just love to add on to your course that it's like very new earth education. That's how I see it. I see it as that's what I mean by foundational, that the way that we're going to learn is through the things that you guide us with. So if anyone's wondering to do the course, like see it as the next stage of evolution of education, letting go.
Yeah, that's an interesting way of seeing it, because I think it's like a lot of the channeling course is re-educating the way that we learn. It's relearning how to learn, because we're learning how to incorporate the intuitive aspect in it. And I wrote a post on Facebook the other day that, it came from something that a mentor that I recently was working with said. It was like, you have to stop thinking that somebody outside of you knows more than you, right? Because that's the old way of doing this, is like somebody outside of me, maybe they do know more than you, but they have more access to implementing that knowledge, which isn't true. It's like, we are complete beings that when we're given all the information and resources we need, we can discover things about ourselves and about reality that no one else could see. And it's owning that and coming to see that, reality exists within us, not outside of us. As we're a part of reality, all of reality can be experienced within our own consciousness. And that leads to just a deeper ability to learn to learn things at a deeper level, to integrate things more quickly, to see what is actually relevant in what we're learning versus what is just, mind chatter. And that ties in with something that Sarah said as well, of like, it feels like everything that is shared with the council is something we already know, because we all have a higher mind, and at the level of the higher mind, everything is one, and everything that can be known is already understood. So it's like all we're doing is making conscious what we haven't made conscious before. And at that super conscious level, we do know everything that's relevant for us. And we come to just accept and embrace that. And it gives us a new way to navigate life. So if you want a new way to navigate life, we're going to be starting the beginning of October. And I said October 1st, 2nd, as would make it a Saturday. But I mean, really the way that I'm going to do it is once enough people sign up, we're going to decide what day of the week fits everyone's schedule.
Is that correct that everyone can register via dantestarshine@gmail.com? And
Yeah.
But can they directly make the donation, or will it be a separate one?
No, it's the same. It can work with both emails. Dante.filippini@gmail.com is probably better, but I can link 2 emails to PayPal now at this point, I guess.
Okay, then. So if someone donates, you'll know what it's for. Should they put something in the comment?
Yeah, that would probably be good.
So in the comments, because obviously YouTube's asking, in the comments, maybe write uncensored?
Yeah, uncensored Friday session with your email, and then you'll get a link to that email. Awesome. My head's getting empty now. I don't have anything much more to say, I guess.
I wanted to add what Sarah was saying about duality, and then there's a third force coming in. I immediately got going from duality to a trinity.
Yeah.
And so now the duality becomes a true trinity, which transcends. Instead of balancing one another, it's balancing everyone with each other.
Yeah.
That's what I wanted to say.
Yeah, the Trinity is like the unifying force, because the Trinity is like one side of the polarity, the other side And then the third thing, which is the whole of the two things together, because there's never really a division between two. It's always one thing. So the Trinity can represent that.
Yeah, it pretty much dissolves polarity, because now there's 3 poles instead of 2, and so now it's it's juggling now.
Yeah, it's cool stuff. Emily, if you want to leave, you can just make me the host and I'll chat with people until it's time to go.
That
I
would
don't know
be
if you're in the rush out of here.
I know how to do that.
Just go. Go. Oh, I know how to do that actually. I can claim
If you
host from
click
here.
leave, it'll automatically make someone a host. It'll give you the choice, I think, if you click leave.
Oh, I can't do it. I can't claim host.
Emily,
You just go
you
into
can click
participants and you
leave.
click on Dante and click make host.
Oh, that's how you do it. Okay.
Yeah.
I can do that. I'm God.
Yeah.
There. I can do that.
You can also just click leave and it'll make someone else host automatically. But yeah, I don't know if it gives you the choice to do
You're
the
now the
first. I think
host.
it does.
Okay, cool. Thanks.
So I just wanted to, I have to go soon, but I was listening to what Miguel was saying and you, Dante, about the Holy Trinity, and what we've been learning in energetic synthesis community is that the white hole and the black hole are just like you did in your meditation. The white hole gives energy to the black hole, and then the black hole is supposed to send it back to the white hole, which creates 0 point. That creates the 0 point that goes straight to God, which is the breath of the earth, which is a 0 point breath. But what's been happening on our planet is negative aliens invaded the black hole spin point. So that what happens is the black hole doesn't give back to the white hole. Instead, it's like the white hole gives to the black hole, and that's a gasoline pump siphon into the phantom universe for the aliens that should die but stay alive on our life force. So there's this siphon point in the black hole distortion, and that's being healed right now. So it's amazing, because the black hole distortion, which is compressed magnetics, is a lot of it is responsible for the heating up of the planet. Of course, there's global warming and there's evolution, but this is so cool that now this is being healed so that the black hole gives back to the white hole.
I know nothing about that, but that's interesting.
Yeah, it's pretty amazing, that black hole spin point. Because in 1980, what was it, 1995, I was shown the lifting of the veil over the earth, which was like this dark magnetic compression that I saw, and I participated in this in February of 1995, actually going to the veil with my hand and lifting the thing off of the earth. Of course, it wasn't my human self. It was a much higher aspect of a whole team of us, I'm sure. But I realize now that the lifting of the veil is the restoration of the reciprocation between the black hole and the white hole, which has been largely blocked in the Van Allen belt of the Earth's equator. So it's incredible, the time of liberation that's upon us, right? Because this frickin' magnetic compression that is being healed, and the black hole is exchanging with the white hole to return the breath of 0 point to the Earth and the whole Milky Way. It's blossoming this emerald heart configuration of living light, which ripples out into a cosmic rebirth of the whole universe. And it begins on Earth. It's incredible.
That just gave me so much.
Thanks. I felt, Miguel, I felt like I just wanted to give you a blast of that.
Wow. To me, that just gave me so much right there. Like, I immediately okay, so that instantly gave me thoughts of, okay, so this is gonna sound crazy, but I'm just gonna say it anyway. Yeah. There is another human race that is not us. That human race is the true human race of God, whom God actually created. The beginning, Genesis, Adam and Eve.
This is getting a bit too much, guys.
That's a little too heady for me.
I was about to say, all same energy.
I already said this is gonna be crazy.
It ain't crazy.
I need to cook my lunch. I'm
I
just
know
gonna
I need to get my
take us
lunch
off live for now, but
too.
Well, I guess I burned it. I guess I
Thank you,
overburned
Dante.
everyone.
You
so
can
thanks
make me
everyone for your
host and I'll. You can
contributions
make
and
me host
everything
Dante
you
if you
bring.
want, and I'll chat with Miguel.
You guys can keep chatting. I'm gonna take us off YouTube now. Thanks for watching,
Okay.
everybody. How do I take us off
Thank you,
YouTube? Though?
I
Dante.
think you just end the recording.
I think I just have. I think I
yeah.
just have to end the meeting. There's no way
you?
to just
That's
end the
fine.
broadcast.
Okay. So ciao for now.
Yeah.
If you want to chat with me, Miguel, you could Facebook message me or something. Okay.
Thank you,
Bye,
Dante.
guys.
It was amazing. Thank you, everyone.
Bye, everybody.
Yeah. Feel free to
Have a
connect with
great
each other,
time.
guys.
Talk to
Thank
you
you,
tomorrow,
everyone. Love you
Josh.
guys. Thanks for making
Or no,
this real.
Saturday.
And I'll see you soon.
See you tomorrow.
Bye.
Bye.
All right.